Hey, what's up guys, it's NickTew, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a really good LMG build for PvP that can also one-shot with the sniper, making it an all-around very powerful build. As you can see, I'm able to kill people pretty fast, and my build is extremely far from set up properly, but I'll definitely be sure to tell you guys how to set it up the perfect way. This build is mainly just going to be for people that aren't interested in using an SMG, kind of like myself, and I'm pretty certain the SMG build with strained, etc. will eventually get nerfed, so if or when that happens, that build is going to be a great alternative. Real quickly, I still am offering farming services for anyone that's interested, so if you need help gearing up, setting up the perfect build, anything like that, feel free to email me at nicktewbiz@gmail.com. And also, please follow me on Twitch as I stream every day, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on there, and possibly even play with you. I'd love to see more of you guys around. Anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, starting off with the build, just like in every other build video, I'm going to show you what specialization I'm running, and that is going to be sharpshooter. The reason for this is because, headshot damage is insane. Really helps out with the LMG, and it also makes sure that I'm able to one-shot with my sniper. Also, the reload speed is really good, especially because I'm going to be using an M60, so the extra reload speed means that I'm not hindered by the really long reload time of the LMG. And the weapon stability is pretty nice. I don't know if this actually affects accuracy at all, but regardless, it's mainly just for the headshot damage, which is really cool. You could decide to run demolitionist for LMG damage if you want to, but I think it's way better to run sharpshooter, especially if you're trying to get the sniper to one shot. So, huge disclaimer, this is far from perfect. It could be way better, but it's still doing pretty decently. It's not as good as I want it to be, and I'll go over how that it can be better. But first off, let's just talk about the gun. So I'm going to be mainly using an LMG here, meaning the M60, or I'm going to be maining the M60 because this is going to give me the highest burst damage. If you watch the weapon mod guide video, or weapon guide video that I made, I kind of explained that the LMG, I can't speak English, that for LMGs the M60 is probably going to be the best one, especially for burst. Slap a Legro on here for increased rate of fire, unhinged. This gives it an absolutely insane amount of damage. In terms of the weapon mods though, I did have to stack accuracy. This actually does end up being worth it. The reason you have to stack accuracy is because when you're using unhinged, your gun becomes really inaccurate. So I got accuracy on the scope here, and I got crit chance on the laser pointer. Got the reload speed here because you're never really going to shoot 100 rounds in a row in PvP, and being able to reload really fast is nice, otherwise you might get caught in the reload. And then I got the 20% accuracy on the suppressor because, damage really doesn't matter in PvP. Here, I'll show you the accuracy of it. Without the accuracy mods, it's really bad, and you end up missing a lot of your shots, which isn't worth it. You do lose a little bit of crit damage speccing into accuracy, but trust me, in the end, it is definitely worth it. So, out of cover, this is how accurate it is. But as you can see how big it is, it usually will stay like this if you don't spec any accuracy, which is really bad. For the other gun, I'm running a Model 700. The reason you use this is just because I can one-shot with this actually while running a full build spec'd into LMG damage. I'm still capable of one-shotting, which is absolutely insane. You're only going to be able to do this with a Model 700 though. In terms of the talents, you can go for First Blood, and then use the scope. If you aren't able to one-shot people, you can just go for this, and you can just scope and hit them in the body, and you'll be able to one-shot them because the scopes give you a ton of extra headshot damage. You get 45% headshot damage. I don't really know what other talent to go for. Maybe a Ranger for damage when targets are further away. Sorry, that is me getting a follow from Twitch. Bad timing. Yeah, Ranger is pretty good. I didn't really know what else to go for though, just because I don't really care. I just want to be able to one-shot. I guess Jazz Hands just for the reload speed. Nothing really else matters all that much. It's not going to make that big of a difference, so kind of just use whatever talent you want on the sniper here. In terms of the mods, I just put crit damage, reload speed minus accuracy, and then I just put crit damage on here as well. It really doesn't matter at all because I'll be able to one-shot people anyways. I just didn't know what else to put here. It doesn't make a difference at all. You just want the reload speed for sure. Definitely want that. So in terms of the actual build itself, like I said, this isn't at all how I want it to be. It's okay. It's working. As you can see in the clips, I do good damage. The main thing here is going to be making sure that you get a Petrov chest because that's going to give you 10% LMG damage. The other pieces are kind of just whatever I decided to throw together. I get crit damage, crit chance from Wyvern. I probably honestly would rather get DNH so that I get the accuracy, crit damage, and crit chance. It is lower crit chance, which will give me slightly less damage, but it's not by a huge margin. And the extra accuracy, even though it is only 5%, can actually help a ton. Araldi, however, is really helpful because I get 10% accuracy and 10% headshot damage. Maybe it would be better to spec 3 Wyvern, 2 Araldi, or not 3 Wyvern. What am I saying? 3 Wyvern, 2 DNH instead of 2 Araldi, but it's kind of hard to set that up because you can't get DNH gloves, so you'd have to I don't even know what other gloves you would use, so I don't even think you can set that up. But this is pretty good for the headshot damage. If your sniper isn't one-shotting, you could definitely go into 3 pieces of this for the marksman rifle damage. Maybe instead of using Wyvern, just use 2 pieces of DNH, 3 Heraldi. You can definitely do that, because if you're not using 3 Wyvern, it's kind of not worth it. You'd either use 3 or 1, because the drone skill power is kind of irrelevant. But I mean, yeah, that's the main part of the build, or I mean, that's just the gear sets, I guess. Let me go into individual roles, because this is not at all how I want it. On your mask, the only damage altering role, like for this build, I'm going for as much damage as humanly possible, right? So if I'm going for as much damage as possible, I want to get as many damage rolls as I can. On my mask though, the only decent damage roll is crit chance. Everything else is just like damage to elites. That's the only other damage roll you can get. This is a low crit chance roll, but it is what it is. I should probably toggle these normalized stats, because that's in PvP. You can use any Gearscore thing because it'll scale up, because in PvP it's normalized, but whatever. For the other role, I have cooldown reduction, which is pretty nice. I would probably prefer to have health, but it's not going to make that big of a difference. And then for my role here, I have skill haste. I think skill haste is good because it just reduces the cooldown in your skill. Even though skills aren't that good in PvP, it's still nice to have. There isn't really anything that will give you damage on your mask. For the chest piece, this chest piece is very far from where I want it to be. I don't want skill power at all. I would rather have armor here probably. I definitely want headshot damage, and I definitely want weapon damage. I would prefer to have a way higher weapon damage roll here, but that's okay. And then instead of crit damage, I'd probably rather have crit chance. Now the big thing is that I don't like this talent. This talent isn't bad. Grenade radius is increased. It's good for throwing nades on people, you know, increases the radius of course. But I would much rather have a different talent, probably being unbreakable. 15% of max armor is repaired when your armor is depleted. This is just helpful because if you're face raiding somebody, you get low armor, you get a little bit of that back that might help you tank like 1 extra bullet, and in certain situations, it could mean the difference between winning the gunfight or not. For LMGs, there isn't really any other talent that's super worth running. Maybe you could get hardened, maybe you can get vital for health, hardened for the armor. This is terrible. Health on kill, maybe, but I would say probably just go for unbreakable or go for hardened. Hardened is probably better than unbreakable, because I didn't know that unbreakable went down to 15% in PvP. It used to be 25%. So I'd either say hardened, unbreakable, or the grenade talent that I have. And on my chest, I'd also much rather have defensive mod slots. I actually don't even have a utility mod slot because for some reason I got rid of them. I could use this, but it's only rifle damage, so it doesn't really help me. On my holster, main thing for the holster is to get crit chance, because you can only either get crit chance or crit damage, and the crit chance is going to give you much more benefit. And then for the talent, you definitely want to try to get either precise or devastating to make sure that you can still one-shot people, and I mean for overall damage that's going to be better. You could get critical or surgical. Surgical would be way better than critical, but it's only 8%, you know, it's not that big of a deal. 5% weapon damage or 15% headshot damage is going to be way better, and I decided to go for the headshot damage, but weapon damage would probably be almost as good. And then for the offensive mod slot, I just stacked weapon damage and headshot damage. For the backpack, this one's pretty tricky too. My backpack is absolute garbage. Preferably, I would like to go for a higher weapon damage roll, a higher crit chance than crit damage roll, and then, you know, I mean, my red attributes aren't that bad, right? Because you can't get other things here like damage release or anything, so and you can't get headshot damage here, so I don't mind. I would just rather the weapon damage be higher. But the thing that sucks about this is my talents. My talents are really bad. Hard hitting, kind of useless or absolutely useless in PvP, and tech support. I don't have 6 of these, so it's not helping. You would much rather have hardened or vital here. You can actually get a piece that has both of these. I don't know how often you can get them. I could run this backpack, but I just I don't know. I didn't want to lose the weapon damage because I wouldn't be able to one-shot without it. I'd probably have to re-roll this, but then I wouldn't have hardened, you know. So that's unfortunate, but you probably want to have maybe armor, weapon damage, and crit chance, or just weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage on the backpack. And then for the mod slot, you would probably prefer to either have, you know, defensive or offensive, of course. Most likely offensive for more weapon damage and stuff. I have a utility slot where I got headshot damage because it's like a generic mod. I'll probably make a video on how to get these later. I don't actually have that many, but definitely could get more. For your gloves, you want weapon damage. This is the only thing you can get for red attribute. I went for marksman rifle damage because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to one-shot. But if I were to get some better pieces, I would still be able to one-shot, and then I would probably go for LMG damage here. And for the talents, I went for headshot damage. You can also go for devastating, or you can go for surgical, but I would much rather have weapon damage and precise so that I can still one-shot with my sniper. For the Kneepads, the only good talent you can get is crit chance for damage, and then you can get, like, for talents, I think Empowered might be good if you're about to reach like a skill power threshold. I don't know how this works in PvP. It might actually be decent in PvP. I don't really know. I don't think you can get really anything else that good on your Kneepads. Like maybe braced, but you don't really need the weapon handling. So I don't really know what else you could get. I don't think you can get vital or hardened on your Kneepads. So your Kneepads honestly don't matter that much. There might be a talent that I'm just blanking on right now. Let me go over my just sheet stats just so you can see. So pretty high crit damage or crit chance. My crit damage isn't that high, but it's not that big a deal. My headshot damage is really high. This is with my M60, by the way. With my sniper, it's obviously way higher than that. 55% reload speed, so my reload time is really quick. Also, let me show you a quick thing you can do with M60. You can shoot it and reload, and mid animation, you can kind of kick your gun and it'll reload it. It doesn't change the reload speed by a ton, but if you don't have the reload speed bonus, it's pretty helpful. I got 35.5% all weapon damage bonus. This is partially from Unhinged. Is it? I don't think it counts Unhinged. I think that's just all together. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. 10% LMG damage bonus. Damage release doesn't matter. And that's it. My armor and my health is really low. Like I said, on certain pieces, I would much rather be able to get hardened or vital so that I could be much more tanky. If I were to get this build perfectly set up, I would have way more damage and way more health, but it is what it is. Oh, another talent you can get on your gloves that I should mention is to order. Grenades can now be cooked. Basically, you equip this and you can like cook a grenade, which is really good in PvP. The only problem is that you're exposed when you're doing it. If I try to do it out of cover, as you can see right here, I'm exposed, so you could easily get one-shot sniped or something like that. But if you do it in the right scenario, like somebody's pushing you or something, kind of use it like short bow Kneepads back in the day, it can be very good. In terms of skills, they're usually not that great in PvP. I would probably go for Booster Hive for the movement speed in the beginning, or Chem Launcher Heal is pretty nice. But one that's really good is the, especially if you're running Wyvern, is the Defender Drone. I don't like to use it because it's kind of cheesy because it bugs out and it will make you immune. I can put a clip of this on screen. It bugs out and it makes you immune, which can make you pretty much invincible for a few seconds, which I think is kind of stupid, but it's really overpowered at the moment. Otherwise, Fixer Drone isn't that bad because you can run around and just have it heal you while you're shooting at people, which in some situations can get you saved. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the build, guys. I hope this helped. Have fun with the build. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how good it is once I upgrade all the pieces and whatnot. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later.